Yo, what's good, guys? Of course, first, welcome back to the channel. I always appreciate you guys for coming back, and anybody that's watching this right now. If you're watching this, you're either a trader, you're an aspiring trader, somebody that's just looking into it, or maybe you just seen the green number on the thumbnail and want to see how I made some money this week. It's Saturday, December 20th, which just means we're doing another weekly recap. As always, I don't really want to waste too much of your guys' time. So if you guys want to just see strictly the trades and you're just here to see the trades I took this week, you can hit this timestamp or just look in the description. It'll be down below, or just skip. You'll see the little time things. You know how YouTube works. But first, I always like to dip into a little bit of the psychology behind all my trades in the week and kind of the things that are kind of flowing through my mind this week, how my mental has been holding up, and just drop some game on y'all as far as trading, just because trading is a lot more than just the trades. I mean, you can catch, anybody can trade and make money and gamble, but what will make you profitable and what will make you actually hold your profits and keep money and take money consistently away from the market is how you come prepared to the market every single day as far as your mental. The two main things I really want to talk about today as far as psychology is really detachment and detaching from the outcome of your trades, and also just consistency. Those two things are what's really going to make you profitable in the market. So first, detachment. And I know everybody talks about detachment. Everybody talks about don't worry about your individual trade. Even I've said it multiple times already on this channel, but still, you need to make sure that day in, day out, you're following your rules, you're setting your stop loss and setting your TP, and you're not being emotional while in a trade, because that's what you're going to become if you keep focusing on the outcome. If you're too worried about winning or losing your specific trade, you have to realize you cannot control whether you win or lose. You can only control what you look at on the market, your setup, and when you enter. There's literally a saying that says in the market, you can only control how much money you lose. That's it. Because everybody knows once you start focusing on if you're going to win or lose this trade, if you're up or down on the day or on the week, that's what leads to these emotional decisions. That's what leads to trailing your stop too tight, going break even at the wrong point, things like that. You need to make sure that your stop loss, your take profit, and your break even point are simple mechanical parts of your strategy. They're not things that are based on emotion, because emotions are something that you can't track. They're something that you can't control day to day. But what you can control is your setup and your process that you take. You cannot bet on your emotions to win you trades day in, day out. Building a mechanical edge and seeing the markets every day is what's going to build your discretion and your edge in the market. But just trading off emotions because you want it to go up or down is not going to help you. And a lot of when I talk to other traders or see people online so focused on the outcome of their trades, or when those psychology breaks start to happen, I'm not going to lie, I fall into this too, but it usually is due to other people on social media. That's a big one for trading. If you're watching this video and you know your strategy to a T and you know you just need to work on your psychology, open up a damn journal and stop watching YouTube. Stop watching other people's P&L and how other traders trade and adding other people's confluence into your own. Just execute on your own edge and journal it and learn from your mistakes. That's how you're going to grow. Watching other people is only going to bring you down in the long run, because a lot of people online don't post their losses. How many traders do you think out here on YouTube aren't showing their losses and only showing their wins? Probably a lot. And when you only see other traders win, and you start taking losses in the market and you're not journaling, you're not noting how you lost, why you lost, and what the reason for that was, you're never going to keep growing. You're stunning your own growth by not paying attention to yourself. Pay attention to what you're doing and what you need to do to be where you want to be. And the only way to truly build this discipline and this true, insane, godly confidence in yourself is consistency. Now, a lot of people think that you need discipline and then to be consistent. Although, yeah, I mean, if you're disciplined and you be consistent, you'll rule the world, I'm sure. But that's not how it works. You get your discipline from being consistent. Being consistent brings you discipline. It's an infinite cycle. And I'm not going to lie, discipline in the markets is super easy once you take a step back and realize that trading is the gift. Being able to make 10K a month, 100K a month, sitting from your laptop or from your PC working 2 hours a day. What other job have you ever heard of with this type of return on investment on time? This is an insane, and the fact that you can learn this for free on YouTube anywhere you want, is such a blessing. You have to realize that you need to sit back and just appreciate what you have in front of you. But you can't rush this process of learning how to trade. You simply can't. You have to be ready right now to dedicate the next 5 years of your life. You have to be ready. If you say, I'm going to wake up every single day and I'm going to put my all into it for 5 whole years, and I'm over exaggerating here by a lot, because a lot of people can get profitable in under that time. And a lot of people take longer than that. It all depends on you. But if I could trade 5 years of my life, and after that 5 years, it finally clicks and I can produce money, then you can start printing money and I don't have to worry about it anymore. That will make it all worth it. And you have to realize that your goal needs to be inevitable in your mind. There is nothing that can stop you from getting this. There's only things that can slow you down. And you have to be the one that's going to keep taking the steps through the mud. But remember, as far as consistency, it's not about winning a whole war or doing the most on day one and staying disciplined and consistent. And I'm going to do this super hard routine. You don't need to do all that. Start small. If you want to run 1 hour a week, it's going to be a lot easy to run 10 minutes every day than to run the whole hour in one go. Then you're never going to want to run. You're probably not even going to finish the hour. You're going to run for 45 minutes on your first run and say, I can't do this. I have to give up. But when you run 10 minutes every day, it doesn't sound so hard. And when you accumulate these small wins every day, you will feel the motivation within you. You'll feel the growth. Once you get a little bit of proof and you taste a little bit of that pudding, you'll be hooked. And last thing I want to throw in is you need to be disciplined and be consistent everywhere in your life. Not just on the charts, because you need it to be easy. You need it to be second nature when you get on the charts. So anything right now that you have been putting off for the past 2 weeks, you need to do it right now. A simple trick to just double your productivity in life and to just do more things that you want to do is to just do it now. Stop saying, I'm going to do this later. I'm going to plan this later. I'm going to schedule this for tomorrow or the day after. Just do it right now. And especially when you're getting started with new things, you can cut the time in half. For example, if you want to go to the gym for an hour, but you don't have the time because you want to have an hour gym session every day, and you just simply don't have that time, but randomly before work, you have 45 minutes. And by the time you get to the gym, you'll only be there for 30 minutes. But guess what? Just go. Just do it. Work out for 15 minutes if that's what it takes. Just get that little bit in, come home, get the rest of your day done, and you'll feel way more productive. At least you can say you did it as to saying you just thought about doing it. Start to actually do things and put things on your plate and get things done. That's how you're going to build the confidence and the discipline in yourself to be consistent, to be able to carry out these things. But if you never give up, you can literally never lose. So at the end of the day, it's not that hard. You just have to keep trying. And you have to look at it as there's no other option. This is plan A. If you have a plan B, if you have a backup plan, that just means you're not putting your full effort into plan A. So you really don't think it's going to work out. Therefore, your mental image is telling you that you're not going to get there. And that's going to affect in your reality. But if you tell yourself there's only one plan, I'm doing this, I'm going to work towards this every single day, it does not matter. You are going to get there a lot faster than you think. Enough yapping though. Let's get into these trades. All right. So let me just open my TradeZella real quick. This is not the correct P&L just because the last trade that I actually took for the week was not on my Top Step accounts. The last trade of the week I actually took on my, I opened up 2 new alpha futures because Top Step shit the bed this week, like 2 days back to back. I didn't end up taking a trade Wednesday, but I was going to take a trade on Tuesday, but Top Step was shutting down. Like it was having problems. So I couldn't trade either of these days, even if I wanted to. So I ended up opening 2 more. I have 3 Top Step accounts, by the way, but I ended up opening up 2 more alpha futures, which I took a last trade on after this. Let me show you now the exact setups I took every week. Okay, so Monday morning, this is December 15th. On the higher time frame, let me just zoom out a little bit for you guys so you guys can see that we have an SMT at these lows right here inside of this daily gap, and we ended up pushing up off that. As you can see, we kind of made a little bit of a push higher, but now we're starting to dump back down. On the lower time frame, so market opens here. Market opens, we slowly go down, we create all of this low resistance liquidity up here that I was really loving the look of. We have a 15-minute unfilled above us. Turn this on. We have a 15-minute unfilled above us. And on the 1 minute, or on this lower time frame, what do I see? We come down, we touch the daily gap again. We still have this high time frame SMT to the left of us. And then I see this bullish candle. Oh, let me put on that one. And then here we push up, inversing this 1 minute and this 2 minute gap. This was kind of sudden for me, and I really liked, I saw all of this low resistance liquidity up here, and I had already seen us make an SMT inside of this daily gap to the left of us. So I was ready to go long, and this was enough for me. So I got in right at the end of this candle and put my stop loss at this low, and the market stopped me out pretty quick. What was the problem with this trade though? Everything in this trade I really liked, except for one thing that I noticed after I got stopped out. And that was that even though we made a very strong bullish candle and we inversed this 1 minute and this 2 minute, on the 5 minute, we had this unfilled 5 minute gap above us that we had also poked into with this candle. So we went instantly from this low up to an unfilled 5 minute gap that we had just put in. That after seeing that, if I had seen this before of entering, I would not have entered this trade, because if we're already in, because after the strong bearish rejection on the hourly, we already inversed this. So we're bearish here right now. On the higher time frame, I was looking for longs, but if we're going to respect bearish, I'm going to listen to the market. And we had already at my entry came up to a point where we could possibly reject off of. So had I gotten an entry down here off of this 1 minute, I was already planning to go break even at this unfilled 5 minute. So if my entry was at my previous point where I would have been break even, then my trade all of a sudden doesn't make as much sense. But what do you do after you take a loss? If you have a 1 trade a day rule, stick to your plan and get off the charts. However, depending on how my psychology is on the day, I do like to stay in the market because I can take a few losses. So here, what do? I take a deep breath. I reset. I noticed this 5 minute almost as soon as I had lost. So I realized that why I lost was for a reason. So let's stay in the market and see if there's another chance to be bullish. So what do we see here? We reject even lower. We put in this low here with a new SMT. So on the higher time frame, ES had taken out these lows already over here, or had taken out these lows to get rid of this SMT. But we put in a brand new SMT with these lows. And we also, on the higher time frame, this was kind of the last low besides coming all the way down here. So we had to kind of reject up, in my opinion. Back to the lower time frame. We put in this SMT down here at the lows, and then what do we see? We see a retrace, a 1 minute inverse, boom. And I'm in this trade off the 1 minute inverse. Now, why, even though we have the high time frame SMT, why did I have so much confidence going into this trade? That is because we stopped respecting these lower time frame gaps, because depending on where the draw is, when you see the market clearly respecting lower time frame gaps in favor of high time frame gaps, that simply means you have the wrong draw. So if my draw was higher here and we respect this 5 minute gap as opposed to this daily gap, or as opposed to a higher time frame 15 minute or 1 hour gap, that simply just means that the draw is lower in most cases. Of course, there's nuance to every trade in the market. But here, what do we see? On the 5 minute, we retrace up into this 5 minute as soon as we open it up. and we create all of this low resistance liquidity as far as these highs. So we push up into this 5-minute bearish gap, create a bunch of low resistance up here, and then we are actively respecting these 2 and 3-minute gaps down here. So as we're respecting these lower time frame gaps, we are actively building low resistance inside of this 5-minute gap. So after seeing this 1 minute, I was very confident to take us up to this previous 15-minute up here. And you're going to see from all of these trade recaps, I really love trading back to gaps. Trading back to gaps and taking 15-minute and 30-minute, 1-hour gaps as my take profit has really skyrocketed my win rate. As you can see, we go straight to TP here. So 15-minute, I enter on this candle, TP at the 15-minute here, stop just at the low right here. Simple, 1 to 4, or I just fucked it up, but 1 to 3.7, 1 to 4, easy. So that first trade lost me 533. The last one made me back 558. So we ended up $25, pretty much just break even on this day. All right, next trade. Going into the next day, Top Step was tripping this day, so I wasn't actually able to take this trade. However, I still am going to show you what I saw and what I would have taken. So what do I see here on Tuesday? Market opens here. We edge this 4-hour gap below, pump all the way up, close the market, and put in a high here with a unfilled 4-hour above us. I know I have a lot of stuff here from the trades coming up, but we have this unfilled 4-hour above us that I'm still looking for. We tap up the 4-minute down here, or 4-hour. We tap the 4-hour gap down here. We create an SMT at this low. And then we inverse this 3-minute gap. Our entry would be here on the 3-minute. Break even point would be up here. However, as you can see from the PA, we kind of just chop around here. We create another low. I know that in this range, there were some more entries off of these 2 or 3 minutes. Had I taken this 3-minute, if I had missed this first one, I would have been break even at this high here. And I would have got stopped out at break even. But since I was in here, my break even point was up here looking for this unfilled 4-hour above. I always have a rule is that if I take a trade before 11 and we're going into 11, if we're after 11, if we're not delivering to my TP, I'd rather just close it out. So especially when I see price action like this and we're just chopping and we're not really delivering fast, because off of this 4-hour and off of this SMT, with how strong the reaction was here off the 3-minute, I would have thought that we would have just gone straight to this 4-hour if this is the true draw. So once 11 a.m. comes, I would have just closed this out had I even taken this trade. Again, this trade didn't really get taken just simply because Top Step was down. But we end up chopping here anyway, so it looks like it would have been a good decision. All right. I don't take any trades on Wednesday. So let's fast forward to Thursday. Okay, so going into Thursday, this is 9:29 right before the market open. Nope, I just want to do one. Nope, come on, just let me put 1 minute. Okay, so going into Thursday market open, what do we see? So 9:30 opens. We push up into this 4-hour order block here. Push into this 4-hour order block. If we go to the 15-minute, we had made an SMT at these highs here, and we dump down. Once we start dumping, especially, I really could have taken this inverse. However, I don't really love taking inverses where you just go straight up, touch your major draw on liquidity, and go straight down. I'd like to see us make some sort of manipulation or show that this is going to be some sort of protected high before I take a short or long. But here, We come down. We still have this last level of liquidity below us, even though this isn't any major high time frame gap or anything really. It is a 5-minute unfilled, but I'm not going to sit up here and talk about how it's some super drawn liquidity. Really, I was really just wanting to see this because it was the next low, and we were clearly in a bearish trend here as far as the lower time frame was concerned. So we came down, pushed a little bit up, made this SMT here, and had a 30-second inverse here with also a change in the state on the 1 minute. So I'd entered here, take profit at this unfilled 5-minute or next low below us, and a stop at a 1-to-1. Just fix that. Stop at a 1-to-1, which is pretty much just at the candle body. As soon as we took out these internal highs, I went break even, which came back and stopped me out like same candle almost, if not the next candle right here. So this one just got insta breaked even. So it is what it is. The next trade didn't come till very late in the day. And I even have this written out here. I'll pull it over back again on my TradeZilla. On this trade, it was an A+ setup besides time. Now, I'm not going to lie. That is one of my rules, is not to take trades or don't look for trades after 11. You're done at 11. However, I'm not going to lie. This day I had been still looking at the charts at 11:05 simply because this is exactly what I look for. The only thing that is awry with this trade is the time, hence why I still took it. So what do I see going into this, right? After stopping me out down here, I didn't really see anything I liked as far as this price action. But when we had made this high, started to make low resistance here, tapped down into this 15-minute gap with an SMT and PO3, might I add. So let me actually pull this up. I'll just put the 15-minute because they're all the same when it opens up at 11. So right here, we have 11 a.m. open, right? As soon as 11 a.m. opens, what do? We reject bearish. We touch into this gap, creating an SMT. So we touch into a 15-minute gap, create that SMT, and also with the PO3, you can see right here that we create this low of the candle. PO3, by the way, is just open, low, high, close. So every single candle that has a wick on both sides has to do this, or the other way around, which is open, high, low, close, right? So we're going to have to make that wick at some point. So this is what we're looking for, to make the wick during our manipulation and have our distribution to our take profit be that distribution. So after SMTing the lows once, we come down and make another SMT while creating lower with this breakish structure, while we have what above? Equal highs above. So equal highs are really strong drawn liquidity for me, especially when they show up on NASDAQ. They show up on ES a good amount, but on NASDAQ, they're not as common. We also have other low resistance at the top, but really I'm just looking for these equal highs just because there's so many stacked highs up here. Even if we're going to want to head lower after this, we're going to want to take these out first. So I enter on this bullish candle with stop at the equal, or take profit at the equal highs, stop at a 1-to-1, which is pretty much just lower wick of this candle. What do? We go straight to TP, literally one candle TP. Super easy, super simple. Child's play, literally super simple. This is exactly what I want. And also, even though I did take the trade after 11, because technically I entered at 11:05, it does align with closing a trade if it's not delivering to your take profit. It delivered to my take profit in one candle. I mean, this is on that just sounds like cope from my strategy, but you know, I want to start to lean more towards discretionary trading anyway. Now, going into the last trading day of the week, Friday. So I had taken actually 3 trades this day. Like I mentioned before, 2 of them are on the TradeZilla. These are the 2 I took on my top step, and I will show the account for the alpha futures after I show the setup. However, going into market open, what do we see? So market opens and we pump up. We have draws on liquidity to the upside. we take out everything. After taking out everything, we put in this huge 15-minute gap down here. We retrace into it with an SMT. So exactly what I like to see. And then while we wait for an inversion or some manipulation out of it, what do I see? Honestly, this was just a bad entry from me. I was too eager and I was blinded by all of this low resistance up here. As you can see on the 1 minute especially, these highs are super low resistance. I feel like a sneeze would have ran us up here. And that was kind of the problem with this trade, is as I was blinded by this low resistance, we don't really have a higher time frame reason to go higher. We don't have any unfilled highs or unfilled gaps that are right above us that we really need to target. The next high would have been this high up here if we were just going to hold bullish. But we hadn't even at this point had a high time frame retracement besides this wick. Or really at this point in the market, we hadn't had a high time frame retracement at all. We had just pushed up and barely touched into this 15-minute gap. So really this was, I jumped the gun a little bit on this one. I seen the change in the state right here and was like, I'm ready for longs. No inversion, no nothing. And obviously what happened? I got stopped out immediately. No time, one candle got stopped out. Okay. Rebalance yourself. That you jumped the gun easily. You did not, this is not an entry that you would normally take. If there's any CISD I was going to wait for, should have been on this taller candle over here. If we had maybe broken up here, I could give myself a little more leeway. But this kind of candle, look at this price action right here. This doesn't even look like we're delivering in any direction yet. We're literally just chopping around and I entered. Anyways, take a deep breath. What's going on next? What do we see? After tracing deeper into this 15-minute gap, we create some inversions. But like I said before, I like some sort of confirmation that shows that this low is going to be protected in the form of an SMT or some other sort of manipulation. So we come back down and what do? We put in another low, protected. We also have the 1 minute CISD. There was a 30-second inverse that I entered on here. So I got filled a little earlier just because if we're going to put one low in here inside of this 15-minute gap where I'm heavily bullish, we're disrespecting everything bullish, and we had just tapped into here and created another 15-minute and created the low just like that PO3. So let me turn this back on. You can see here that we open up 1030, we trace lower, make that wick, and then have that 30-second inverse coming out where I enter. And I was break even. I think break even at this high right here. Now, the problem with this trade, as you can see, I mean, I'm just going to here because I ended up getting stopped at break even. The problem was me not closing out at this high or anywhere in these next few candles here. Simply just because ES had pushed up so high and made an SMT at these highs. After being up, if I look over here, I can show you on my TradeZella, I was up 1267 at like the very tip of this. So even closing here would have at least secured me 1,000 or 1,100. But I'm not gonna lie, the greed got the best of me. I had already lost 600 on the day. I would have been up 400 had I closed at 1,000. However, I was greedy. I wanted to see out all of these low resistance high, and I wanted to put a big green number on my P&L. I didn't want just a $400 winning day, which is more than enough. In reality, I really should have taken my profits here, but sometimes it's good to just acknowledge the greed got the best of me. Next time when SMT's at the highs, I need to make sure I'm taking my profits especially if I already took one loss. If I took one loss on this day and I'm up in profit and I could close this trade right now and have a winning day, why not take that? Why give it the chance to come back to your break even and make nothing? $11. So on this day, had I stopped trading here, I would have just been down 600 for the day. And that's okay. Sometimes you just have to have a losing day. I literally, if you watch I'll link all of the trade because I have all these live trade recaps on my channel. I'll link them below. But you can see in the trade recap, I had moved my stop up to here. And once we start to retrace, I really wanted these highs. So I moved my stop back to break even and told myself, I'm going to put it back to break even. If we come down, that is just what it is. I'm going to accept that fate and the market's going to take that from me. And that's exactly what it did. Whatever you let the market take from you, it's going to take. But yeah, so right after I saw this, I actually re-entered into a short, which was my last trade. I'll pull up on my Alpha Futures right now. So you can see here on my Alpha Futures accounts, I have 2 of them. I made $12.48 per account. And how did I do that? What did I see? As I was getting stopped out, I zoom out. I wasn't planning on just re-entering and taking a trade. However, what did I see? Let me remove this PO3. I see 30-minute unfilled below us. We're actively delivering. We put in an SMT at the highs here, which I should have closed out at. So what do we have? SMT at the highs, low resistance, and this 30-minute, well, not low resistance, but we do have a 30-minute gap below us. And I also see, when I zoom out, that we're at OTE of the range. So we popped into this OTE, which is this pretty much just a magical zone, 0.705 to 0.618. We touch into this OTE. We create an SMT there. And then on the 3-minute and the 5-minute on the same candle, I was looking at the 3-minute mainly, but the 5-minute is the exact same entry, exact same candle. We inverse this gap. So we traded into OTE, put an SMT, rejected out of it, delivering towards a 30-minute unfilled gap below us while inversing this gap. Perfect. Give me the gold. I said, give me the gold. So, boom. Punch that in. TP at the 30-minute gap. Stop at a 1-to-1. Which was pretty much 0.5 of this wick that went into OTE. And then what do? We actually deliver almost immediately. I put my stop to break even at this high right here. This is my break even point right here. Here, let me just delete this just so that you have a little bit of clarity here. But I enter here, break evens at this high, take profits at this high down here. We edge this gap. Thank the Lord, because when you look here, we barely edged my break even. Holy, you need to watch the trade recap because I was literally shitting bricks. I was screaming at the chart. I was like, NASDAQ blew a breeze by my booty hole, bro. I was like, holy shit. And then we end up chopping around a little bit more and we deliver. That's what's called having balls of steel right there. That's balls of steel. You set your break-even point, you set your TP, you let it rock, okay? So cool. I secured the 1,200 per account on Alpha. But that was the last trade I took, guys. This is the weekly P&L besides the 1,200 per account, but these are each with 3 accounts each. So if we do some simple math, on the week I was negative 45 on 3 accounts. And positive 1248.90. 8.9. So in total, I made 2,300 this week. Although, preface, these are all evals. So technically, I don't have any of this money yet. However, proof of concept, you know? If you guys like this video, give it a like. If you dislike it, give it a dislike. Comment any of your thoughts. Watch another video here. I have a bunch of videos on my channel about psychology. I upload my live day trading every single day. And I also am starting to do these weekly recaps too. So I'm super on the grind. Follow my Instagram, TikTok, all these socials here because I'm posting every day there as well. But besides that, guys, happy trading. Happy weekend. Merry Christmas, guys. Next week is Christmas week. So Don't let nothing bring you down, guys. Make sure you have your own goals. Do it for you and build a life that you don't have to run from. Peace, guys.